Am I the a-hole for telling my sister to F right off and keep her opinions to herself? My older sister Izzy, 31F, and I, 27F, are very different when it comes to relationships and view of relationships. Izzy believes in the whole 4-year rule, where if you're with a dude for 4 years and he hasn't proposed to you, he never will, he's not serious about you and he's a walking red flag. She broke up with her HS sweetheart at 21 because he didn't propose after 5 years together, and she talked about giving him an extra year since they were both in college. That was the only reason. She said she'll always love him and wish they had worked out. She broke up with her next partner after 3.5 years because he showed no signs of wanting to get married yet. And she broke up with another guy just a few months ago because he told her that's BS and there is no right timeline for marriage and kids unless you're really rushing. Izzy talks about this stuff non-stop. She tells people to break up with their partners because the other hasn't proposed, especially straight girls and gay guys she knows. She truly believes a relationship is at the end of the line after 4 years of no proposal. But I have told her I do not believe the same. I have committed the great sin of having 2 children with my long-term partner/boyfriend of 12 years. But we're not engaged, we do live together, and we live like we're married in ways. But neither of us is in a great hurry to get married. I don't need to be married, honestly. I'm fine without it. We're happy. But Izzy always calls it BS, and she told me I can't be happy with a guy who'll knock me up but not give me his last name. I told her I don't want his last name. And did she ever think he might want mine someday? It got worse when we announced I was expecting again. When our second child was born a month ago, she just couldn't stop saying this to me and questioning my boyfriend on why not propose, why he was using me, how many baby mamas does he really have. He fired back that our relationship is more stable and happy than hers were because of her stupid rules of engagement and marriage. I told her to leave for insulting my boyfriend. A few days ago, I was picking something up from my dad, Izzy was there. She accused me of being dumb and naive and of ruining my life by accepting a relationship he clearly doesn't want, and she told me why her 4-year rule makes sense and I lost it. I told her to F right off and keep her opinions to herself because I don't want to hear them all the time. Izzy said I didn't need to be rude and should be more open to what she's saying because she's only trying to help me and support me like sisters are supposed to. Then she said I'm just an ungrateful beach who doesn't appreciate love and support. Am I the a-hole?
Am I the a-hole for financially controlling my wife? I, Dale, 32M, am married to my wife Cindy, 26F. We have a son, Brandon, 1M. I work, and my wife works as a stay-at-home mom. It's difficult financially supporting my family by myself, but there haven't been any alarming issues yet, it's just tight. I spend next to no money on myself. I have a budget for my wife for fun. She usually follows it, sometimes not. Now, my wife has several friends who are great. Her best friend, Nancy, 25F, is someone I despise. She's behind in life. Moves from job to job every couple of months, lives with her parents, nothing inherently wrong with this, but she's not using it as a tool to get ahead, she's just a mooch. The real issue is her taste in men. I'm talking about men who think it's funny to point loaded guns as a joke. For a couple of years, she has shuffled back and forth between the same 3 bad partners. The worst part is she makes everything about herself and always gets my wife into her drama. For instance, I planned an intricate proposal. She got the date wrong and got pissed when I didn't cancel the whole thing. I'll say it, FNG hate her. So, she's found a new guy, Steve, 29M. He's another bad partner. Even worse, they've known each other for 3 weeks and are planning to move in together, already got matching tattoos of each other's initials, and getting married in Vegas. Nancy wants my wife to come to the wedding. Never mind the fact this premise is insane, but tickets alone are $500. This will be at least $1,000 all in. Worse yet, they planned it for the 27th of December. No way in hell I can get work off. We'd have to get my mom to watch our son then, and she'd have to travel over the worst weekend to travel. She's also missing valuable time with her son at his first real Christmas, when he's a person and not a blob of baby. Here's where I was maybe an a-hole. I didn't even entertain a discussion. I just FNG said no. I said it was insane, no shock. Wife is now pissed, saying I'm financially controlling her. I'm saying just deciding to spend $1,000 on a farce is insane. Am I the a-hole for financially controlling my wife?
Am I the a-hole for yelling at my parents for turning my brother's old room into a guest room? I, 16F, and my 2 siblings, 18F, and 21M, live with my parents, 47F and 45M, in a 3-bedroom 1-story house. My entire life I've shared a room with my older sister, while my older brother has gotten his own room. Recently, my brother has decided to move in with some friends, because he wants to branch off from our parents' house rules and move closer to his college. Both my sister and I were excited because we hate sharing a room. Our room is about the size of a large closet. We have bunk beds, we share a wardrobe and hanger rack for all of our clothes. Even with that being about it, we have practically no floor space, and the only room we have for personal stuff are a shelf each my dad installed after he decided he didn't want them in the master. I wouldn't mind it as much if the little privacy I had in my room wasn't constantly taken over by my sister. My sister has the top bunk, I don't mind having the bottom, but it means that she is constantly in my space. It may seem silly, but my mattress space is the only area I have control over in our entire house, and I definitely get protective over it because of that. My sister has always been the antagonistic type and likes to get into my space when she's bored because she thinks it's funny. She sits on my bed, takes my phone and looks through it, and pokes or grabs me and pulls me off the bed. I hate it. A few days after he left, I saw my parents looking for furniture and talking about going to AITA for the room, and I asked if my sister and I could come so we could have a minor input on the furniture. My parents told me that we couldn't because my mother already had a vision for the guest room. I asked if they really planned to make the room a guest room, and they got upset, telling me I was ungrateful for feeling entitled to a room in their house, and they could do what they wanted with their property without my judgment. I was fed up and a bit shocked as my parents, although strict, have always seemed to try at being fair. I screamed at them about how they can't really expect their 2 teenage daughters to live in a glorified closet until they move out for a guest room, and that we just wanted privacy. They got angry at me and grounded me for being ungrateful and told me just because I was their child, it didn't mean I could guilt trip them into giving me the room, when the one I already have is enough, and my sister is mad at me because I ruined our chances of getting our own rooms. I wasn't trying to guilt trip them, but I feel like we need space, and making a guest room is awful when we're stuck in one. Now I can't leave our room unless it's for school, or other necessary things until I learn to appreciate what I have, and stop being a brat. I feel bad that I screamed at them and am starting to doubt that I'm in the right, so I'm looking for someone else's perspective on this. So am I the a-hole for screaming at my parents?
Am I the a-hole for not canceling a college football trip this fall after my pregnant wife canceled her Taylor Swift trip? My 29M boys and I are going to a college football game this fall, Oklahoma at Ole Mississippi. There are 6 of us going, and it's proving to be an expensive trip. We are all meeting up in Memphis from where we live. I'm in LA. This is a 4-day, 3-night trip. Tickets, lodging, tailgates, flights, and a fun for bar hopping are some of our expenses. Going to an SEC game costs a lot of money. We've all locked in nearly everything. This has been planned since the schedules were finalized earlier this year. My wife is 3 months pregnant. Now that we have a child on the way, money has become a concern for her. Her being pregnant is a bit of a surprise but not shocking. We weren't using protection and took an approach of if it happens,